Welcome back, everyone. Spring and summer is a time for new growth and taking bold action together. So we hope these stories can inspire you to live boldly, take wise chances, and with our friends and family, make a difference together. Today we will be reading A Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne, retold by Billy Aronson. So as we lean in with the spirit of adventure, grab a friend, like Jade here, and let's enjoy the story together. Chapter 20, All is Not Lost. Looks as though Axel and his companions are moving up in the world. Literally. Trapped in an active volcano on a runway raft with no brakes. Could things get any worse? Probably. I noticed that the air was getting warmer rather quickly as we continued to rise. Was this a result of the blaze of flames described in the theory of central heat? If so, why were we feeling the heat only now as we rose upward when we hadn't felt it below? I soon thought of an explanation. Until this point, we'd been protected from the central heat by granite. Perhaps the electricity that filled the air above the central sea also served to protect us from the heat. At any rate, it became clear at each passing moment that we weren't protected from the heat now. If we aren't drowned, I told my uncle, or flattened to pancakes, and if we don't starve, I think we might be burned alive. My uncle just shrugged his shoulders and continued thinking whatever it was he was thinking. Over the next hour, the temperature continued to rise. Finally, my uncle spoke. Well, Axel, he began, we must keep up our strength at all costs. Let us eat our remaining food now, so that when the time comes to act, we are strong enough to do so. You can't possibly mean to tell me, Uncle, I cried out in amazement, that you haven't yet lost all hope? Certainly not, he answered coolly. All is not lost, as long as a man's heart has power to beat, and his brain has power to reason. With that, my uncle took the last slab of meat and the soggy biscuits and divided them 3 ways. Things are at their worst, but even now, as the guys eat their last soggy meal, Professor Linnebrock doesn't lose hope. You gotta admire the guy. Each of us ate our last meal in his own way. My uncle ate greedily. I ate sadly. Hans swallowed his portion calmly, as though this meal were no different from any other. Was there nothing that could make this man complain, as long as he got his weekly pay? Poor traveling, Hans said with gusto after finishing his last bite. Delicious indeed, my uncle replied. Now that I ate, I became more aware of other things I was doing without. Most of all, I missed that beautiful house in Hamburg, far above our heads, and Martha the cook, and especially my dear Gretchen. These people and places passed before me as in a dream. While I was busy grieving, my uncle was busy studying. He held a torch near the wall so that he could examine the rock through which we were passing. We've risen from one layer of rock to another, he said. This granite seems to have been formed more recently than the granite we saw before. What could he be suggesting, I wonder? Could we possibly be nearing the outer crust of the earth? The temperature was becoming unbearable. I felt as if I was bathed in fire. When I accidentally touched the wall, I screamed in pain, for it was burning hot. To cool my hand, I reached into the water and screamed again. The water's boiling, I cried. My uncle seemed amazed by this fact. It seemed to him a kind of strange sense to him, as though he was fitting together the pieces of a puzzle. I would have asked what he was thinking, but he was too shocked by the sound of explosions. Minute by minute, we heard more explosions. They increased in number and loudness until they sounded like a single continuous thunder. I felt certain that the walls around us were about to come crashing together and smash us. What are you so worried about? My uncle asked me to calm matter. What am I worried about? I yelled. Don't you see that the walls of the shaft are shaking? Don't you feel the heat? Isn't it clear that we're right in the middle of an earthquake? Not an earthquake, he answered, smiling. An eruption. An eruption, I gasped. You mean we're in the shaft of a volcano that's about to erupt? We're about to be spit out of the earth in a blast of flaming hot lava? Yes, he answered calmly. This volcano is our only chance ever to escape into the light of day. As the hours passed, I could see that my uncle was right. The boiling lava below us, mixed with the heaving mass of lava, was lifting us up. I realized that when we reached the mouth of the volcano, those rocks would blast in all directions and rip us apart if the lava hadn't already boiled us. Yet even though I had no hope of surviving, I found a comfort in one fact. The compass continued to show that we were moving north. At least before dying, I would be treated to the cool air of some northern land. Perhaps it would be Sweden or Siberia or Canada or even the North Pole. Toward morning, the force thrusting us up became even more powerful. Above us, we could see the dim light of day. I was able to make out details of the walls of our tunnel. From these awful walls, sparks flashed, hot vapors poured, and tongues of fire leapt out as if to lap us up. Near the top, the temperature soared to nearly 200 degrees. Sweat dripped from my every pore. If not for the breeze caused by a rapid climb, we would have burned up. Still, we soared upward, faster and faster. At any moment, I expected to be blasted out of the earth in a stream of flame that would burn us all to ashes in an instant. Suddenly, we stopped. Our raft became completely still. The lava beneath us was no longer rising. Won't there be an eruption? I asked. I'm sure there will be one, my boy, my uncle answered. Lava sometimes approaches the surface of the earth in kind of a rhythm. We should be thrust upward again in about 10 minutes. Okay. He was right. Time and again, our upward motion stopped, like a worker catching his breath, and then resumed with full power. During the pauses in our motion, it became so hot that I felt like I was breathing fire. The only thing that kept me alive was the belief that I was about to land in a region of sub-zero temperatures. And then came the end. My memory of the moment is hazy. The deafening explosions, the shaking of the walls, the raft spinning around like a top, the falling clouds of cinders, the huge flames wrapping around us, the blasts of fiery wind that seemed to come up from deep in the earth. The last thing I remember is seeing Hans swallowed up in a blanket of flame and having the feeling that I was flying out of a cannon as my limbs were being scattered through space. Don't stop now. The fiery conclusion is just around the corner. Oh, 21. Just kidding. We have one more. One more? Yes. We'll see you next time for the last chapter, for reals this time, chapter 21.